Okay, I'd like to call to order the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meeting for July 3rd, 2025. Oh, I gotta get a pen first. I'm gonna do the roll call. You want one?
It's like 30 over here.
Oh, somebody will find it. Okay, Jordan Wittrin, and he did say he had to work, so excused. Kelly Wesson.
Here.
Rich Allen. Oh. No, I didn't hear from him. Checked him after. Me, Shelby Staffis in the chair. Victoria Rizzo.
Here.
Twyla Harrington.
Here.
Mary Howell.
Here.
Sherry Winters.
Here.
Chris Ellison. Didn't join us online either. Okay. Let's see. So next up, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Sherry, you want to lead us?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Right, that's the school teacher.
Right, that's the school teacher. That's right. Okay, well, first of all, or the next thing we got is we got to welcome our new members. And so I think I'll start by, Kelly, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're involved in public safety or any interesting facts you want to share with us?
Yeah, hi, my name is Kelly. I have lived in Troutdale for 7 years, but I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. Obviously Oregon. I have a 5-year-old and my husband is my high school sweetheart. So we've been together for a long time. And I wanted to get involved more in our city government because, I have a 5-year-old and things have been very crazy. And I would just like to make sure that my community is well kept and that I can do everything I can to make sure that it stays this way because I love it here. So.
Excellent. Well, welcome. We're so glad that you decided to get involved with us. We're really excited about that.
Okay, the burning question, which high school?
I went to Grant High School.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm actually a PIL kid. It's funny because every job I go to, they're like, "Oh, you're a unicorn Portlander." Like, yeah, I stuck around, but I'm in Troutdale now.
Excellent. Okay, very good. Well, we don't have our other two members, so we'll have to have new members introductions for the other two next month, I guess. So, do we all want to say a little bit of something to introduce? She knows more about us, or no? Yes? All of a sudden, a thought dawned on me.
Do you care?
If you don't mind, do you mind saying your names just so I know who's who?
Sure, we'll do that. Okay, start.
I'm Mary.
If you can see her on the screen.
See, we're gonna look this
I don't
somewhere.
know.
Hi, I'm Sherry.
Sherry's waving. Of course, I have my screen up, so I'm Shelby, I'm the existing chair. We'll see, we have elections tonight, so.
It's not on.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Victoria.
okay, and
And
then,
then I'm Twyla.
that's right.
Okay, thank you. It's lovely to meet you all.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, onward here. Next up, we have elections of chair and vice chair. So,
I nominate Shelby for chair.
Second.
all right, let's see, moved by Sherry. Mary, any other nominations? Okay, I'll close nominations. All those in favor of Shelby as chair, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You didn't have to do an individual vote, okay.
No, I don't think so. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed being chair, but thank you that you put your faith in me. I'll open up on nominations for the vice chair. Sherry, are you vice chair now?
I'd like to nominate Twyla.
Well, I like to nominate Sherry.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little a bit of competition. Okay, so let's see, that's not a motion, that's not a motion. Okay, are you nominating someone? Okay.
I think I can decline because I'm technically and still chair of CAC because we didn't have an election last night.
Would you like to be it though?
I'm good just participating.
I was gonna say, I'm good just participating.
Okay, everybody. I need somebody in the event that I'm not here that's willing to run the meetings. I'm usually,
How about Victoria?
Can we second, even if we've already first someone else?
yeah, you know what, we're such a very easygoing group, you can tell. So, I mean, really, I don't know how to exactly handle this, how to do it right for Robert's
Well, she
rules, but-
declined and you declined, so that opens it back. Does that open it back?
Okay, so that's what I was just gonna say. You've declined, and now, Sherry, you've declined, so, okay,
And I'm gonna second Victoria.
okay. So I can write Form B, and I can say, sorry, having to do all this. Okay, then I'll close nominations for vice chair. So we're voting for Victoria for vice chair. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you, Victoria. You're my vice chair. Excellent. Okay, already got that done. Now, I'm moving on to agenda item number 5, appointment to Public Safety Services Work Group. Just so you know, I guess, Kelly, there is a working group from that's working on the fire, police and fire contracts. I think some of that's coming to an end and rolling into the next thing. But we've had 2 people existing, and it kind of, when it's to the end, we kind of think it's, or I shouldn't say it's to the beginning, I think it's going to go on for negotiating the maybe what's going to happen with fire, or potentially getting our own police department back, or if we were to join a fire district, whatever. But at any rate, the existing people we've had on there has been Twyla and Victoria. So I will first ask them, are you both willing to continue serving on that committee?
I am.
And they're honest to continue because we
Yes.
sit on it.
I think for just the catch-up would be involved. I think it's probably
Consistency.
a good idea to keep the same people on. Okay, well, so I will entertain them. What do you do? Let's see.
What do you do? Do you say I make a motion
Yeah.
for Twyla and Victoria to continue in the appointment of the Public Safety Services Delivery Working Group?
Okay.
This is Sherry.
A second?
Small group.
Fall asleep.
Not here.
Okay, so all those in favor of Twyla and Victoria continue to serve on the Public Safety Working Group, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. Thank you guys for serving and answering, or doing that for us. We appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 6, public comment on non-agenda items. So I will open up public comment for those online first.
Shelby, Paul Wilcox, Troutdale.
Hello, Paul?
At the June CAC meeting, they were interested in what accounted for the record-breaking number of committee applicants this year. And they suggested that each of the committees, when they met up with their new people, ask how they became aware of the opportunity to be on a committee. And since CAC didn't meet last night, you're actually the first committee with new members being introduced. So maybe Kelly could tell us how she became aware of the opportunity to be a committee member. Thank you.
Okay, I think think I don't know if that's breaking quorum, but I will ask if Kelly wants to answer that question for,
I don't mind at all. I honestly, I was going to ask if there's like a rule book somewhere that I could look at just so I could know like what I'm doing. But aside for this question, yeah, I'm totally happy answering it.
Well-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so how did you become aware of the opportunity to apply to be on a committee?
So it's kind of a weird roundabout thing with everything that's been going on. I sort of had asked some family and friends how to get involved, and I have a cousin of mine who said basically get involved small, start with local, and I read the Troutdale Champion all the time, and I found actually when the elections were and submitted my application, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, so the Troutdale Champion was the key thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that. Wonderful.
Of course. Yeah, I'm not a big Facebook person, but I know that's where a lot of stuff gets posted, and I'm realizing less and less of my age group is getting on there and seeing it. So the newspaper is really kind of cool to have. It's a little throwback.
Great. Excellent, thank you. Okay, so seeing no one else online, I will say I'll open up public comment to anyone in the room.
I'm good. Unless you guys have any questions.
Okay. So I'll close public comment on non-agenda items. Let's see, next, number 7, approval of April 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes. Did you guys have a chance to review and have any corrections or?
This is Sherry. I looked it over online, and I will say that it's reaching back maybe too deep in the recesses of my mind. But as I looked it over, to me, it looked okay. But again, somebody else feels differently, they might, but I did peruse it online.
Okay. Anyone have any comments about it? No? Okay, so then I will, if nobody has any comments, entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
This is Sherry. I make a motion to accept the April 3rd, April 3rd, 2025 public safety minutes.
This is Mary, I second it.
Okay. So, any more discussion? Otherwise, we'll move on to a vote. All right, so all those in favor of approving the April 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, that passes. Thank you very much. I know Sarah's working hard to get caught up, but we're still months behind, so we'll hope that maybe next month we have 2 months worth. Okay, so now we're gonna move on. We do not have, that's what's different. Kelly, you're joining us now for the first time. This is the new contract, and we actually don't have, at this point, the chief coming to our meetings, and one of the deputies, the Troutdale deputy that we have from Multnomah County. So I think they're trying to work on getting that back where they come to our meetings, because then we'd like to be able to ask questions about the law enforcement reports. And right now, they're extra large because we were finding there was stuff missing, and we're like, why are we hearing about, there was a filters on it. So we took all the filters off. So now it's a big book. And we want to understand what we want to see, what do we really need to see, and I think we're all still grappling. It's so many pages, the volume of data. We want it to inform us so we can help be proactive, or like if they're seeing a pattern or anything that we could encourage law enforcement, call it to attention, call it to city council, anybody, so they would get on with stuff. But right now, I feel like we're still grappling with the volume of data. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight, if there's any filters we've determined, or if we still just need to have this book for another month or so, and we can finally figure out the filters to put on it, what we don't need to see. So I'll open up, go ahead.
This is Mary. I think we should leave it and continue to have a book. Let our new members come on. Peruse it, have them also have a chance to put in what they think. Yeah. So maybe keep it as is for now.
This is Sherry. Kelly, I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at it online. It's a lot of pieces of information, and sometimes it's hard to understand even what the code means. So we are just, I mean, I feel like, I don't know if this is.
Where was it sent? I apologize. I found some of the meetings and the Zoom invite. I found the packet with the Zoom invite with the meeting minutes, but I didn't see any other book.
Okay, if you keep going down after the minutes in the packet, you go, you eventually run into something that says Multnomah County Sheriff's Office.
Well, you probably can't see that on my screen.
Item 8. Yeah, wait, Shelby, you're too blurry.
I'm too blurry, I know, I'm not sure why.
Okay, there's, maybe not.
Maybe stop moving, I'm trying to stop moving.
Did they get it online? I'm looking real quick.
I was looking at it.
Earlier. Oh, the whole thing was there?
Yeah, when I looked, it was. I looked today, though, so in case maybe it was a different day.
Yeah, I looked today too.
I do see, okay, I see there's the PowerPoint. It looks like, yeah, it goes a lot further. I found it now. Thank you.
Okay, so when I say that, then there's, like, if you get to the back where it says calls for service log, it's just all the things that happen every day in Troutdale for calls for service. And then there's coding on the side, so it'll call it a priority and what it is, 1 and 2.
1 through 7.
Well, yeah, 1 and 2 are like pretty high priority, like, I don't know if it's risk of life or
I think it's something like that.
that. And then 3 through 7, it kind of depends, and sometimes it relates, there's like extra pieces that determine it seems like. Anyway, so that's part of it to look at. And our friend Mary here has exposure in records for the police department, so she knows some stuff that the rest of us don't know.
Invaluable, because she
Yeah.
helped us on some of
And
the.
just to clarify, Kelly, this information is derived from Bureau of Emergency Communication dispatch log. So all the calls that came in to BOIC as a short, okay, that's where this is accumulated from. So just because the information came in doesn't mean that officers wrote reports on all of this, because some of this is not even, it's like they even have it where the officers are maybe just in a meeting, like they, it logs everything pretty much.
Okay.
Just, yeah, that 2 cents.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And it is a number of pages you'll see as you go through it, and that's why we refer to it as a book, because it used to be maybe 10 or 12 pages maybe, and now it's
102, or at least. Wow. Okay. Thank you.
This is Twyla, and I think the other thing that we were looking at also was the dashboard they have online, which is unfortunate because we were going to see what that captured, and they didn't exactly match up last time, so I'm trying to pull it up again and see if it matches better this time, and we can figure that out, because that would be great, because then we could just
Go there
look
ourselves.
there, and the stuff that's not there, we could perhaps review in the packet. So I'm trying to
So
find that.
that's what's led to some of this confusion. I know that some of us have experienced stuff in neighborhoods or seen stuff, and then it wasn't on the calls for service log, and we were trying to understand, and the captain explained, well, if the call started in Gresham, we might not get it on our statistics, even if it ended in Troutdale, but it would be on our statistics if it started in Troutdale, even if it ended in Gresham. And so it's because the sheriff has to put some dividing lines on stuff to say, oh, this is just Troutdale. So we've just been grappling with this a little bit, but I know stuff happened in people's neighborhoods that's not on the logs. And so that's why we said, remove the filters, all of them. We want to see. And then I see like what my incident in my neighborhood or her neighborhood was coded as. I'm thinking, well, we would want to see that. That required a lot of cop cars, so a lot of presence there. So what was it coded, what was it priority? We want to make sure we're seeing those since we didn't see those before.
So
But
just so I understand, with that, we are covered by the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office still, correct? So our filters would be Troutdale, Gresham, Wood Village, Fairview,
no, just Troutdale.
just Troutdale. Okay.
Yeah,
And I think I figured out part of what's going on with the discrepancy. So this is total reported crime, person crime, property crime. And on our log here, we have things like targeted patrols, so that would not be in the number. And premise checks probably would not be in there. Suicide attempts would not be in there. Suspicious vehicles, right? Because that's not a crime, it's just a suspicious vehicle they are investigating. So I'm gonna see if I can make the numbers work.
what about this page? Isn't this the one that is supposed to tie to theirs? You know, the one that's the Multnomah County Sheriff's reported crime, all offenses in Troutdale? That page. Because that number, I think, doesn't tie to this exact page. We are just trying to get, and even the captain didn't understand me exactly. And you gotta realize the other thing is when calls come in, it's coded a certain way, but then the officer gets there and says, that's not what happened here, and so then it gets changed to the thing that it was.
I mean,
So that's why some of these, I don't know, anyhow, I'm sorry, but we are still grappling with it ourselves, and you're coming in.
No, this is great because it's very confusing. So where do these numbers get pulled from? Is this like a 911 dispatch that it's pulled from or?
Two things. One is when the 911 dispatch, and then the other part that Mary talked about. It's the Multnomah County database where they do something.
Oh, okay.
Always, the captain used to, especially Asbill, or a couple times ago, he used to talk about BOAC, like the 911, and then he'd talk about the county sheriff's office, what they pulled it from. So I think we struggle.
I think a lot of it is online reporting where the citizens can go online and make their own reports.
Oh, yeah.
There's that portion, and then the other is this, the calls that people make to 911.
That is something that Twyla brought up, is those that are reported online. We weren't getting those stats. So now this month, we have a sheet in here that talks about the online stuff.
oh, that's great.
Specifically, yeah. Online offenses, it's a few pages in, and I thought that was good to know, to see, but like I said, I think they've got different databases. We just think in some ways, if it was just our own police department, obviously we wouldn't have to worry about jurisdictional lines. They work for us and it's everything that happened here. Versus they have the whole problem, it's all in the database for the whole area, and they have to say, oh, well, they only care about seeing this much, so we have to remember to code it or make it so it is in a different, we can pull it separately. So anyway, so anybody, you guys have any, we don't have the captain here to ask questions on specific things. I noticed on one of the call logs I thought was weird, you guys. One of them says it's from Maywood. The address is Maywood. Okay, you saw that. I thought.
It said targeted patrol.
Targeted patrol.
Address, Maywood.
In Maywood. It's like, Maywood? Do we have a street Maywood? No, I think they're talking about Maywood Park down by 205. How is that in the city limits of Troutdale?
Yeah, I don't,
And they were sent there.
But it was a targeted patrol, so why would, I don't know. We have questions for, so if we do get the captain back with, and actually, this is what was thought about, is any questions, if we can compile them, and then I'll send them to the captain, and maybe we'll have answers for next month if he doesn't come, if we can't get him to come.
I really hope they do. I feel like that's an integral part of this community, and that communication and such. I feel like without that, we're gonna have what CAC, another like, what are we about?
Right.
Just because, and I think in the long run, it would probably saved him time to be here, because you lose so much with the context back and forth via email, and
Yes.
and sometimes it's just, reminding us of, oh, yeah, that's what this means. So I really hope that we're able to get somebody back.
So do I. But I will say, if you guys can look through And if you just say, well, I think these kind of calls, I don't think we need to see. So then we'll start looking for a pattern. Is it the priority number? What is it called? Or whatever, that we could start putting some kind of filter. But we don't have to turn on any filters until we all vote on it and decide that we want to have that filter on.
Okay, this is Sherry. So my thing is, I look through the stuff, and again, some of this stuff, I just can't quite get it in my brain what some of it means. So like for the whole reason, and then like Mary can look at it another way on if there's or something written or not, and she remembers those letters and stuff like that. And I selfishly am always looking at addresses to see if it's by my house. I'll admit, or I go, oh, is that, oh, wait, look, I noticed
I think we all do that.
a pattern of something with the addresses or whatever, or, you know, like, if there's something that happened, you know, specifically asking, last month, that's what I did, ask the captain about it, but I was thinking that if we could at least, even if they won't authorize him for a whole time, if we could have him here for like 45 minutes or something like that, that would be really good, I think, if there's a way we could record for that.
I did talk to Ray about it, and he said he'd see what he could do, so I will follow up with Ray and see what.
And the other thing, you guys, for me, and again, this is just, maybe it wouldn't matter, or maybe, again, when I look at the addresses and I think, oh, wait, what address, and then I see, oh, it said, then I start recognizing, oh, that's at the factory outlets. Oh, that's at the factory outlets. Oh, you know, it's like I'm starting to see something or whatever. And so almost in a way, like, I still feel like if there was like, and I know you guys said online there sort of is, like a heat map showing like where certain crimes are taking place.
County stuff, yeah.
We'll get into it.
But I think what I wonder is, does it show it by priorities? Does it show it by ones, twos? Does it show it by types of things happening in an area?
You can sort by person, property, or society crime category.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so the ones, the categories like we have
Those
on that
three
sheet.
that we get in
Three
there.
ones.
Yeah, I think just like if I could see, I mean, like at some point I feel like the frontage road, a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And I know we used to talk about 257th, but no, there's not that much seeming to take place on 257th in any one area. I mean, from what I could see as I looked through it, so I'm like, well, no, there's not, that doesn't seem to have a pattern, so, anyway.
With the heat map that you were just talking about, is that with the data that we're provided, or is that just the public data, and is that different? Do we know, is that?
It's just it's online and it is, I mean, for public, just the
Okay.
city or each jurisdiction has their own data that you can pull up. So Troutdale does have information.
And you get to it by typing.
I was just gonna say, Twyla's the one that's looked it up the most. She's done it in her meetings, so she's.
Yeah, it's the www.mcso.us/reported-crime-data-dashboard.
Okay.
I think I just Googled Multnomah County Sheriff's Office crime statistics
Okay.
to get here.
That makes sense. I'll do that.
And she did verify that whatever, it doesn't tie to that report that we were looking at, that,
Yeah, there are a couple off.
oh, it just doesn't show, does
It
it?
doesn't like it. It's blurry behind you, so it decides to blur it out.
When you go,
Nope, doesn't make it.
You're just, everything about you is blurry. Are you too far away from your screen some of the time?
Do you have your background blurred?
yeah.
If you unblur it,
I didn't mean to, but I guess I have that done, but okay, I'm not gonna mess with it now, right now.
So online, for person crime, it shows 11, ours says 12. Property crime, ours says 22, theirs says 20. Society crime, and this is where it really differs, they say 2 and ours says 20.
Oh, wow.
So
So we really, like I said, we need to understand what's the difference.
Yeah, and I think they're like filtering. This must be filtering something out that they're letting through. I'd really love to know.
Yeah.
From our sheet there, it shows the society crimes.
Oh, the things are on the back, the things that says society crimes.
Let's see, that category shows disorderly conduct of 2. There's drugs and narcotics of 2. There's warrants with 15.
So it probably
Weapon law violations 1. So maybe they're only filtering one of those 2 categories.
Because you said they have 2 and we have 20.
Yeah.
They for sure probably aren't doing the warrants. Weapons. Well, I think that we all have to digest this some more, so we could keep talking about it if you guys want to, but I also don't if you're.
I do think that it requires like an assignment that, the specifics, I know when we just use it loosely, like say, just come back with your questions or something, it's like, I feel like we keep doing that, so.
Well, I will say that I went through several months worth of stuff and I highlighted things that were like 1 or 2s, oranges. I just wanted to just see how much that would be on the report. And then I said, I think the next one down, I put in purples so that I would see. I circled some because I just thought, well, I don't think we really care about that. Or, oh yeah, we would care about that. So, I mean, some of them that did fit that we didn't have a priority on. Anyhow, I think I did go through and say, for sure we want the 1s and 2s, but I think I have a lot of 3s and 4s in here too. But some 4s I don't think we're interested in, so I don't know.
I was just the observation is, the book, as we call it, it's approximate, because last month, I believe I added it was like 518 calls. But yet online, they only showed 43, on our little public stat line. And when I went through and tried to make sense of, or, I tallied up all the ones that I thought reports were written, it was 127. So it's amazing to me that we have, not all of these are reportable crimes. This 500, it's not. They're not. It's 518 and then there's only 43 written reports. So I don't know.
That's a
And I'm not sure if that includes the online submission. So, but if you look, this month, June, we had a total of only, I'm not sure how they get 7 point, or no, that was previous. That was for the five online reports.
Oh, right.
Where citizens went online to submit a crime report. And it was approved and documented. So even with that, it's still amazing the distance of what is called in versus what is really reported to the state and such. So yeah, we'll have to work on figuring out probably to narrow it down somehow and still be able to get the information we need.
I somehow feel like they might have all this data. But it's just hard in its form for finding usefulness or where we can, I don't know.
I do like the online heat map. I think it would be interesting. Maybe next time we could pull it
the
up
heat map.
and then we can toggle through the different filters and then kind of look at the areas that these are coming up on.
And so it's that, once again, it's still broken down though by heat map, particular area and just societal crimes?
You can, then they have crime group, which is all the subcategories, excuse me, that are on, so many pieces. of
There's so many, I keep trying to keep it in the same order.
On the back, on the back, how it has the subcategories of like animal cruelty, arson, assault, bad checks, so we can toggle in between a couple and really drill down if we're looking for something. Like,
Do they also have like a year over year? Because it'd be nice to know, like, because I know with summer months, crime can go up, and winter months, sometimes it can go down. Like, it'd be interesting to know what last year's August versus this year's August looks like as well.
They actually provide us on not everything, but like on the front page of that report,
Okay.
first one, they do talk about the current 30-day period and then the previous 30-day period and then the previous year's 30-day average.
Okay. I might have missed that one. There's so much here.
There's so much here to, to digest. I totally get that, I think. That's why we're already grappling with it. We've been on these committees. Can't imagine if you're brand new. Trying to do.
When do we get these? When do these come out?
Well, we made it very timely. So this goes through June 30th and it's just July 3rd. So they literally they do the reports as soon as they can on the 1st or however it falls, but they try to do it. So obviously when we meet like in a month, somehow we meet on the 7th. We've got more time to have digested and get these reports. Other times when we meet on the 1st, it's like, yeah, it's arriving, you look at it here. But we want to get it down to more manageable where it's just what we need to see to help us be informed, to make decisions in case that's what we wanted. It's not that, I just don't want to waste a bunch of paper. We're printing off a bunch of stuff and we don't really look at it. Nobody's really looking at it. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and the budget is already tight, so the $20 envelope to every person here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Twyla.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I do agree that, it's nice to get that in the mail, but with that costing so much, I'm totally fine looking online and then just when we're here, having it here.
I like to make notes on it, so I love it in person, but I just try to make some notes online and then bring here and I get the hard copy. I like to mail it to us. Okay, well, if you guys don't have anything else, see, I guess I'll open it up here to public comment on law enforcement reports, if anybody has anything online. Okay, seeing none. How about in the room, any comments about the law enforcement report?
Yes,
I must not have turned it on. It's not on. Not on.
Hi, I'm Frank Stevens. I'm a Troutdale resident as well. So looking at the report, so what's cool is we're actually seeing some trends already with reporting. Homelessness was like number 2. Was that on our survey? Do you remember?
What are you looking at?
One of the things on our survey.
So this committee actually put together a survey that really gave a highlight of what the local community sees as public safety. One of those was homelessness, which ranked like number 2. So it kind of earmarked, for me, a chance to take a look at the city as a whole and see where we're, like the heat map, where we're seeing issues with homelessness. And as a researcher, I'm looking at the green space especially. So I'm beginning to see a trend, especially when you see general camping. It's usually associated with green space and commercial. So we're seeing it on Stark, we're seeing it on Northwest 257th. And if you look at the report, Northwest 257th is going up, definitely. I'd like to see a comparison on that at some point. But I think it's something that the committee should definitely look at, for the heat map index, and see where those are happening and how often. Because I think with the new park coming into that area behind the mall, that Northwest 257th needs to be addressed. The connection.
Isn't that street is Northwest 257th Way?
way. It depends on which Google map you go to. So, yeah. 250, as Ray Young was kind enough to tell me, 257th is a long street, so you have to be specific.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it goes all the way through Troutdale. So what the trend I'm seeing just from this data is definitely highlighting green spaces, and then usually associated with high commercial use. From my research background, that basically says it's a supply and demand system. So materials are available, food is available, all the resources are available. So that's not surprising. And then green space has always been known as a place where they could live there and it's out of sight, out of mind. That's an issue for parks. So yeah, I mean, that's where the two, public safety and parks, have to come together, I think. So just my thoughts. Yeah, great data. It's a lot to go through. That's a book. Yeah, novel.
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
Thank you.
That's right, thank you. Okay, seeing no one else in there. All right, I'll close public comment on law enforcement number 8, law enforcement report. Okay, so with that, I'll go on to agenda item number 9. I think we brought up in our group before that we might want to put something, have a corner or something in the Champion. So I didn't verify with Kelly for sure, but I believe the deadline for the next article would be mid-August. So did we have anything, tidbits, or anything that we thought we'd like to point out and get in the Champion?
Could ask for a data specialist to go over that book.
Yes, I think we need to recruit and get the captain back to answer. But even then, when we had him here, sometimes he couldn't answer the questions because he's just providing a report. Sometimes he doesn't know about what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
So-
the data seems very different than what a sheriff would want to be sitting and doing, or I have a lot more questions about where it's pulled from and what it looks like and the background and just statistical information, because it is a lot.
So I'll work hard on seeing if we can't get him back, because that was a shock to me when we canceled our meeting because of that partly, and so I just said, wait.
But just know our friend Mary here knows a ton.
I don't know at all.
Well, we're very appreciative. Brings a different perspective than all the rest of us, being inside the sheriff's department for many years. She knows a lot more, so that's helpful, very helpful to our group.
Maybe once we get them back, we can ask one of their data analysts if they might help come and understand the sourcing.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Because for sure, I like having all this data. That's a lot of information. So having a lot of information is better than pre-filtered information. So
And I think the data analyst then would be able to tell us what we can get online, and then why there's a difference, and then what we need in our packet to make it whole.
Yes.
I guess it comes down to also, though, do we want to know and have the knowledge that these things are being reported? So we might still want some of this data, even though there aren't reports written. As officers do not write reports for everything, but the incident still occurred,
Right.
you know?
And
So
Our
we gotta be
concern-
careful about where we cut off that information, I think.
And we talked about this before, Kelly, but our concern when an officer doesn't write a report and the only place it's registered is one, that, Mary can explain it better, but that information slips out of records. So, for example, I think if you made a 911 call and you reported maybe some questionable behavior,
And it stays with BOIC, but it doesn't get reported and processed by the records division. Therefore, it does not get put into the Uniform Crime Reporting System for the state of Oregon. And it's not at the hands of any, our statistics for actual city of Troutdale stats.
wow, it feels like there's a lot of background information I'm potentially missing. Troutdale feels like a very small city comparatively, I mean, obviously compared to Multnomah County. And with saying that like if a crime starts in Gresham and ends in Troutdale, we don't hear it. And then like the different levels of reporting, it'd be nice to maybe get a better understanding of that. Is there somewhere that, or somebody I could talk to maybe better understand that portion of it as well?
He's not here.
He's not-
Yeah, I think that would be the captain, and he's not here, so.
Our captain used to, yeah, I mean, he's just
Slowly
recently
educating.
changed
Okay.
contract, so we're gonna try to get him back, hopefully.
Because he would answer, that's what we, as we're grappling to become new on the committee, we're trying to understand, and then we think we understand something, it's like, wait a minute, now I think I've understood that wrong, when we ask a question, and then sheds new, peel back the onion, oh, yeah, we see a little bit better what's going on.
So and it was because of him, because we were adding questions, and he just came to us in January. And before that, we had some others. And anyway, so when Captain Stewart came, we'd ask questions, and he'd say, I don't know, I'm gonna have to find that out for you. And then he'd say, well, he does think that that's interesting, that that's not showing up there. We should figure out why. So thus the book became
Yes.
from the little that we had. And so that's what we're sort of early on in the processing of this information.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, so going back, do we have any, I guess, anything we want to put in the champion related to public safety that we want to for sure? I will spin off here to one thing we talked about in the past was neighborhood watches. And I was reading about that whenever I talked to you guys a few months ago about that they only take off if there's interest. The people in communities, neighborhoods, they have to feel really that they want to create a neighborhood watch. Then they take off. And then we can do whatever we can to support them or, be an outlet for them. I mean, but until, I don't know how we launch those unless there's interest. So I think one thing we talked about was potentially, and I don't know if that's the best avenue, was First Friday having, being there at the city booth and trying to see if there was interest. But I know a lot of First Friday are people from outside the area. It isn't always very many residents, some residents. But anyhow, I think that, I guess we could also, this makes me think of that, well, if we're not doing that, maybe we could put something in the champion, that if you are interested in that contacting, because really, we would, I think, try to do something to help promote it, to help them. I know I read a bunch of stuff about it and ideas to get it off the ground, but so if people are interested and they needed help, maybe we could somehow help them get it off the ground. Go ahead, Jerry.
I wasn't sure if Kelly was gonna say something. No, I was just gonna say, that's why I was just thinking, like, if we could get this information in such a way when we're like looking at a heat map and we really are seeing, wow, they're seeming like they're having a lot of problems in a certain area. Like there could be something that maybe is broached with the area in some capacity or, like, I don't know. But just sort of seeing, but until you can see sort of a trend of something happening. I know, because Frank had pointed out about like the homeless situation and being right up there, closer to my neck of the woods, so right by the Safeway, there is either one or two people that tend to live homeless right behind the gas station, between the bushes and the building, or at least tend to show up there frequently. And so, it's something I'm kind of aware of, but I realize that's business related, so that's like a less of a neighborhood watch or something. Anyway, okay.
Well, I love what you're saying about putting in the Troutdale champion. I know my neighborhood is actually full of younger families now. I'm almost 40 and I'm older than a lot of them, so it feels like they're very young. And I think maybe even putting something in there of educating people what a neighborhood watch is, because I will be completely honest, I kind of understand what that looks like, but I don't know what all it would entail. So maybe even just a little educational piece about what that looks like and how to do it would be excellent. Because I think the last time I heard about a neighborhood watch was probably on a 90s sitcom, to be totally honest. So even just that educational piece in the champion could be pretty powerful.
So I'll try to write up, since I had done some research on, ones that started and how to get them going and stuff. But I think they also talked about the purpose of it. So maybe I'll just try to write a little article and submit it to Kelly and see if it can possibly make the champion. Do you guys have any other ideas or things I will bring up that Tide Out is in Wood Village is in a couple weeks. I think it's a week from.
Right. 2 weeks.
2 weeks from Saturday?
Two.
I think that's what it is.
And then all the rest of them are just,
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I know that was something on our back burner, but, it's a big undertaking, and so I would encourage anybody, if you're interested, just make sure to go to the Wood Village one. I know that they'd love if we wanted to job shadow, but it conflicted totally with, I was gonna job shadow, but it conflicted with what I have this year, so I'm like, I can't do it, so I'll just contact her next year if I'm gonna do it. Okay, anything else you guys think that we need to talk about in the champion? Otherwise, I'll move on.
Only just mention again, come see us at our public safety
Oh, yeah,
meetings.
yes. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna, any comment on agenda item number 9 from the public online? In the room? No? Okay. Let's go on to agenda item number 10, update on next month's agenda. Okay, so I'll work and see if I can't get the captain back to answer our questions. I think that we just talked about trying to do that, look at that heat map. I don't know. Do you want to try to call it up and do it for us, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'd be happy
You
next time.
could share your screen.
Share my screen
Since
and
you've
do that.
navigated through it, and all of us, if you can get a chance to, Twyla said where it was at, but you can search, she said Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and crime statistics and get there. And so if you can, do a little perusing, but don't worry, she's gonna show you what she's learned from it, and I'm sure she's gonna quantify it and say, I'm not an expert, but this, but she has messed around with it a little, so that's really helpful. So that would be great.
I will be the citizen sleuth.
Yes, thank you. Okay, then also, perhaps, maybe when we're looking at that, we'll also circle back and talk about this camping and stuff that's happening on 257th Way. Maybe the heat map will show us, I don't know, what we propose, what we might do, what we would want to move forward on, any of that. Okay, backing up though, when I said the captain getting here, I also will work on seeing if I can get an analyst.
Victoria has a question.
Go ahead, Victoria.
is 257th Way, Troutdale, Multnomah County, or the state?
I think 257th Way is the road that goes
No,
on.
who's in charge of it?
City.
Oh, that is ours.
Yeah, I think that's because that's in the outlet mall, that's that way, that's the street. 257th Way. I thought at first you're talking 257th.
Saw somebody there today.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll work and see if we can get an analyst. That might take a little longer to schedule. We'll see. I have no idea, but we'll try to see about that. Okay, and then anything else that you guys want to talk about? Agenda items? Okay, that's what I know right now, so we'll move on from number 10.
Just a quick question from me. this might seem silly. I live off 257th, so it's something I notice all the time. Who takes care of the tree trimming around the street signs? Because there's a tree that has the school zone sign, the 20 miles an hour sign that is completely overgrown and yes, sir.
Depends on which street.
No, it's on,
Right across the street from the high school on 257th.
That's the
right.
county, it's the
it's
county
the
road.
county road.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay, so I believe that you can report that on,
Online.
Troutdale, just go to the homepage and then there, actually, if you, I wish I remembered off the top of my head, but I actually wrote the article for the Champion that talks about reporting all sorts of issues. Right there on the
Okay. Well, that, okay. Okay.
chance you can submit that you want to, you've got some issue and you can submit it, and street lights out, you know, or if you have a problem. So I believe that's where you can report it, and they will take care of it. The right jurisdiction will get
It's
notified.
just curious, it's been that way a long time.
Yeah. Well, you'd think with them redoing and fixing it that it would get fixed, but
You would think, but I don't think they're worried about trees covering the site. That little section has been such like a little nightmare because nobody remembers that it's a school zone in parts of that area. And it's like, we can make so much money from that section.
Right.
okay, so let's see, I'm asking you guys about next month. I think we had already sort of heard August 7th was a conflict with a bunch of people, but I'll ask. What meeting dates? August 7th or 14th? Does any work, none work? What?
I will be out of town. I can try to join via online, but I can't promise, and I won't know until
Okay, a little
I'll
closer
be out
to
of
it.
town for the next 2 months.
Okay,
So I
so
may
both
be
of
able
them.
to do Zoom, but
Okay. So you're saying both the 7th and the 14th are not
so I mean, for me, it doesn't matter
the same issue?
because, yeah.
Okay, Sherry, how about you?
The 7th for sure is no good for me. It might be both of them aren't very good for me. I can't remember now.
How about you guys?
You show me, I left my phone at.
I will be traveling for work both the 7th and the 14th, and I'll be coming back in, my flights will be coming in. We could take a summer break.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. We haven't had a break at all. We can take a, city council even takes a break.
I know, yep, totally. I think we had, last year, we were pushing so hard to get that survey done, so we have been working a lot, so we haven't had a month off. I have to tell you guys both, the 7th works a lot better for me, the 14th is a lot harder, but I knew a lot of people didn't like the 7th, and that's why I pushed for this meeting, because I said, I don't really want to take 2 months off, so I think I'd be more willing to take August off and just resume in September.
I make a motion to take August off.
Are you in favor of that too? I know you're just new. So the new members will just have to wait till September. So can we look ahead on September and just see if they didn't ask us for that date. So
Oh, that's good, that starts early, so we could,
We're always the first
fourth.
Thursday.
So it will be the 4th.
that's good.
So September 4th. Is that generally, right now, that looks good for me.
Yeah,
I usually keep the first week open anyhow because we have our committee meetings.
I'll
So,
probably still be out of town, so it
Okay.
might may or
But
may
you might
not,
have to
depending on
Zoom.
where I'm at, what I'm doing.
it'll be 8:30.
how about that? Does that, the September 4th work for you, Kelly?
Works for me.
Okay. Okay, so that's good for you too, both Victoria and Twyla? Okay, let's just set our next meeting date as September 4th. And that'll give the city a little bit more time too to figure out what staff support will be here for to help us.
Would we still be able to get the August data by chance?
And I am going to ask that we still get the reports and they're electronically emailed to you guys, so you have more time. I know, just build up your questions. And we'll just hopefully that gives me more time to get the data analyst for September
Hey,
too.
would
so.
you see if it could get printed, and I might be able to swing by and pick up a copy somewhere?
Oh, sure.
I mean, it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be.
that's a great question.
So for the August reports, if they would make them available in the office, we could swing by City Hall and pick it up?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I will ask. August. Okay. And then they could just email us when they're ready, or when they email, if they email us the electronic copy, then perhaps, how many of you guys will go by and pick it up? Because I could just ask them to have so many printed already.
I will.
I will.
Okay, so that's 3. Okay, I'll have them at least print 3.
You won't.
Okay,
Fly back.
it's ready, and then they can email us when they've got those printed, so you guys can go by at your convenience to get them, so. Okay, I'm gonna just write down, so I need to write down, it's for Sherry Victoria.
I see there's that August, or I'm sorry, the June packet that's there. If I just swing by the sheriff's office or City Hall, could I pick that up? I just live up the street, so I'm curious.
Oh, you mean the hard copy today that we had?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I will, they would normally round file them, so, yeah, I will ask them to just save it off there for you, you're gonna come by.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So September 4th, 6:30 will be our next meeting, and we will still get our electronic copies and some printed copies for us to pick up at City Hall for those that are interested. And so, on to agenda item number 12, committee comments. We'll start with Victoria, left side of the room.
Well, welcome, Kelly. Glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
How about you, Twyla?
Oh, congratulations on chair and vice chair. Welcome new members. And looking forward to a month off. And coming back together. And I think also in this packet, I was thinking, the camping wasn't in the packets before, so I think that's one of the things that when the filters came off. So it's gonna be hard to tell kind of the trend. So I'd love to see historically kind of where we are with that. Because I know the Hope team handles that, so we don't always know.
Reminds me, I think that they're doing an ongoing update every month, or every time the champion comes out with the Hope team. I forgot to,
He said that was in our minutes.
he said that was gonna do it, and I can't really remember reading the article. I read the champion, but I forgot, did I read that article? Okay, I'll have to check that. Okay, go ahead, Sherry.
Ditto. Yeah, welcome and congrats and thank you. And I was just gonna say, normally at the beginning of our new members and everything like that, we get a little sheet either sent to us or something that has everybody's address and I don't
The
know.
Robert's Rules of Order packet?
Yeah, and the Robert's Rules, so that's what I was just gonna mention, that's why when Shelby said we're a little loosey-goosey, we try to say our names, so the person's, that take down, the info knows who said it, but, it does give some good information if you're not familiar with it, so.
I will ask them about the new members binder that, seems like I got one with each committee when I joined at some point. I remember for sure CAC.
We had to ask, but we got one.
I think when you guys asked, we got one at that point. So I'm gonna just remember to ask her and point yes. Okay, so it's Sherry, were you done?
Done. Thank you.
Okay, Mary.
Welcome, Kelly. Congratulations, and hope you all have a nice August. And might see you online in September, but otherwise it'll be October before you see me face to face.
That's not really fun.
I'll be spending some time with my son and first baby for them. Oh,
That's the best. That's
down south.
How are they gonna get by without grandma though up
I
here?
don't
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Okay, Kelly, your turn.
Thanks for welcoming me onto this committee. I look forward to working with all of you, and thanks for enduring all of my questions while I figure all this out. I appreciate it.
Good to have you.
Good to have you. We just love it when people are participating too, got thoughts, questions, it's good. So again, welcome to you. Thank you guys for election of chair, for Victoria covering, helping me out with that too. And great, you guys, I'm really excited about we're gonna get going on this stuff, so it's good. And hopefully I will have the captain back here some of the time. So again, thank you guys all, and
Make a motion.
go ahead, make a motion.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
Again.
All those in favor say aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you guys very
Thanks.
much.
Bye.
Thank you, thank you. I gotta go through
When
it all
you-
myself.